Hello, folks. Welcome back. Never mind the pomp and ceremony of banging the gavel and transferring the presidency from South Africa to the United States. That didn't happen. Trump said we're not going to go, and we didn't go, despite Ramaphosa claiming that we changed our minds as a country. That never happened, as Carolyn Levitt pointed out from the Oval Office in a press conference. But the handoff actually took place with our charge d'affaires, Mr. Dillard, going to the Department of International Relations Cooperation in a rather condescending, diplomatically rude gesture by South Africa, saying that they weren't going to give the gavel to a junior official when that official is the representative president of the United States. Anyway, so that handoff has taken place, and today was December 1st, and the United States is now officially back in the presidency of the G20 and running the show. Wow. South Africa's politicians have been fond of insulting President Trump, mocking him, belittling him all year long, and telling all kinds of fairy tales about Trump and lying about the white genocide, blaming Trump for it when he's, until recently, only mentioned it when answering the questions of reporters who posed a question to him so they could do the gotcha moment of him saying white genocide. Well, now it's taking place. Now Trump's actually saying white genocide. And the U.S. has taken full control of the presidency of the G20. U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday launched the U.S. presidency of the Group of 20 by wiping clean the website of outgoing host South Africa, which he is not inviting to next year's summit, or so he says. The G20 website now simply has a picture of Trump in black and white that says Miami 2026, and the best is yet to come. Of course, that's the title of a song popularized by Frank Sinatra himself. Trump also said South Africa will not be welcome at the summit to take place at his Doral Golf Club in Florida. This would be the first time a member has been excluded in the two-decade history of this bloc. And it's unclear what that means. Trump can exclude them, but what action or what reaction will the other 18 members of the group have? And the reason Trump can exclude them is that they don't have to give them visas to come in the country. But that would be a serious diplomatic breach, and we'll see what happens as the year unfolds. The Trump administration also has rejected the agenda that South Africa's presidency of the G20 led to, which included the just energy transition and debt begging or debt sustainability, which is really debt relief. They want to be forgiven legitimate debt that they took on and expect the West to once again bear the burden of wasted resources and money pilfered by African dictators and potentates. Now, the State Department said Trump will return the G20 to focusing on its core mission of driving economic growth and prosperity to produce results. It's almost like the State Department is getting their talking points from me. What have I been telling you the purpose of G20 is? It's to drive economic growth and prosperity to produce results for its member nations and reduce trade barriers. They said specifically, we will prioritize three core themes: unleashing economic prosperity by limiting regulatory burdens, unlocking affordable and secure energy supply chains, and pioneering new technologies and innovations. And that's what the statement from the State Department said today. So now the U.S. has the presidency, and they've removed all of the South African content from the official G20 website. Wow, that's definitely going to get some snarky, snippy responses from politicians in South Africa. The U.S. government warned South Africa that it's inappropriate to push forward with this debt sustainability, which isn't sustainability, it's debt forgiveness. They want us to wipe their debt out, said that's not a wise idea, and also told them that this green energy fantasy is not a good idea either. And South Africa pushed on with it anyway. Those are the true reasons, the two true reasons the United States did not participate in the G20 Leaders Summit. Nothing to do with this nonsense that Trump spewing and the South Africans buying in hook, line, and sinker about so-called white genocide or a white genocide, whichever the case is. It wasn't about that. It was everything to do with the fact that, hey, you want to push things that are anathema to the purpose of the G20, we're simply going to ignore it, and you won't get consensus. And then talk about breaking diplomatic norms. It was Ramaphosa who broke diplomatic norms when he announced a consensus declaration before the damn summit even began. The cheek. Well, I'm sure South African politicians will be upset about this, but hey, they can cry in their milk all they want. Doesn't change the reality. Trump has had the website scrubbed clean. Nothing there to see from what South Africa accomplished during the past year. Doesn't change the fact that documents were prepared and people coordinated. So if anything's going to happen, it could happen. But as I said before, the empty promises of European nations are empty promises. The only country that's been a real friend of Africa for the past 25 years has been the United States. pouring billions of dollars in to fight HIV, billions of dollars in to fight malaria and tuberculosis, billions of dollars of development assistance, and so on. The United States is the one that's done that. Others have put token amounts in, but the United States has put so much of our energy and our effort, not to mention that, in working peace agreements out and also fighting terrorists and other things on the continent, and helping governments with their democratic institutions, the United States, and sponsoring World Bank and IMF loans for these countries. Europeans are not going to follow through on their promises. Don't hold your breath. You'll just turn blue and pass out. What say you, South Africa? Mzansi? Trump wiped the website. Wow. Cheers.